Hey y'all, I'm back for another review, another review of Ready to Love, season 9, episode 8, Exes meet the Nexes. Why did I say that? Because I actually just finished the video and didn't realize I had not hit record. I was up here talking to myself. Okay, I mean, like, I'm talking to myself, but like for a different reason. Anyway, okay, so we're back. I want to thank all of you who have liked the video, subscribed to the channel, and if you're watching this, please be sure to subscribe to the channel and really, just so I can, build it. Also, oh yeah, so yesterday we had our, it was last day of Black History Month. Happy Black History Month to y'all. And we had a really great speaker come in, the founder of the Free Black Women's Library in Brooklyn, and she was absolutely great. Talked about the history of Black librarians, the need for them, and the times of book bans. She does really great work. Follow her on Instagram if you can. The Free Black Women's Library. Ola does such incredible work. The kids were really feeling it, and even once we had walked outside of the church, because that's where we have our speakers. Kids were stopping her on the street, said about a 15-minute break or whatever, just telling her thank you. They appreciated it. It was really good. But anyway, support what she's doing. She has a period pantry, gives things, she doesn't really charge people for stuff. So, I don't care where you live. Just look it up and support her. Okay, so the ladies, for the second time, the ladies meet Tommy in the lounge, okay? And please tell me why meeting anybody's ex is a good idea. Right. Are we supposed to believe that the people are going to be honest about their exes and bring them? Like, let alone expect them to not be jealous and fuck it up. Like, why? Okay. And was I the only one? Why was Tommy talking with a gay lisp? Okay, though. Anyway, I wish one of my exes would call me and expect me to show up for a reality show. Period. I wish you would. So I could tell you hell the fuck no. Like, I'm not friends with my exes. Like, don't get me wrong. Now, if somebody wants to contact me, say, we didn't end like on horrible terms or anything. Because, I don't really break up with people because I'm happy with them. But, like, say, oh, my nephew, like, is trying to get into this program. And I know maybe somebody who works there. I was wondering if you could help. That kind of stuff, fine. But other than that, no, we are not communicating like that. All right. So Patrice and her ex meet up, and she's inviting Alonzo and William. She said her ex is a wild card. She is scared of what he's gonna say. I looked at them and I was kind of like, it's hard for me to see them together. And then I was like, no, I can actually see that. Her and her ex. Well, anyway, William expressed what I've been feeling this entire time. When they showed him in the confessional, and he said, I'm going to meet one of Patrice's exes, and I'm on a date with Alonzo. Like, honestly, I'm tired of sharing Patrice. And I felt that, because if you care about somebody, at this point, you can't be okay with that. You can't. So her ex asked William, what didn't he like about Patrice? Like, I don't know why that shit cracked me up. But sometimes you gotta get to the nitty gritty. What you expect from an ex? So, Alonzo was like, well, I don't like the fact that she throws curveballs around certain issues and I'm not really ready for it. But he kind of scooted around it. And Patrice said, well, I don't like the fact that I don't know when you're serious and when you're joking. You seem to be joking more often than not. William said that he didn't like when she said she loved to tan. And the ex said, wait a minute. You don't like what she does with herself. Let me tell you something. Ex, you are absolutely on point with that one. Because that is the kind of shit you got to call out and you should make somebody explain. Because that is a slippery slope. You having a problem with what she does to herself. He was like, well, it was the tone in which she said it. And, her not being accepting of herself, this, that, and the other. I get it. I get it. And it's not like black people can help, they're tanning anyway when they lay out. They in Texas, like whatever. But her ex was right to check a man about, like, is this a thing with you? Like, you think you have a say over that? You gotta watch that little stuff. So William, he handled it. He handled it. But he honestly, her ex was actually a lot more mature and thoughtful than I expected because of the way she described him. Her ex said, she was like, well, Alonzo, he's really fun. He said he seems like a really fun guy. I can see that. And he said, but I suggest William. He said, because he's grown. And he was very clear, very direct. Facts. Okay, there is a qualitative difference between the two. But I show concern anytime men seem to describe themselves as protective, because Patrice was saying that about William. William is very protective. I'm not saying that isn't a quality, particularly if you grew up as like the oldest child or you came from a big family. Certain kind of tendencies follow you. But when it comes to men, I feel like protective can quickly slide into the controlling category. And I don't, gotta keep an eye on that. And I'm not saying he is, but that does make me nervous. And his experience, and this is not like weaponizing it against him, but him being adopted and not really having any blood family. I mean, I think anybody, you grow up in a house full of love, but those people aren't your biological parents. I really do think that there can be this constant fear of somebody leaving you, abandoning you. And sometimes men try to punish women in their romantic lives when they're adults for the stuff that they wish their mother would have done. I'm not saying this is the case. I'm just saying it's something to think about. So Mika meets with Tommy to talk about the issue with meeting her ex. She said she only has 2 exes. Okay. And the one she was thinking about wasn't the father of her child. I guess only 2 exes she even considered. Okay. So she said her child's father, her son's father, says if it's not about his son, he doesn't like to talk. And that's real. And she's being honest about that. So Tommy agreed to play her ex and be a mediator. Honestly, I'm surprised more people didn't have an issue with that. But okay. So Vanessa brings Thomas, her friend, her ex, to meet Chaz and Dominique. Dominique says he's hoping that this guy doesn't have a super emotional attachment to Vanessa, because you know how that goes. And Dominique starts asking questions. And he was like, it's hard for me, essentially, for him to conceptualize how they could be friends. He said, especially after being intimate. He said, because that changes things. I don't get down like that. I'm not friends with people. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I understand. I understand. I get it. But she said, I made a mental note of that. Because the thing is, Dominique didn't wait for them to ask him questions. He kind of came in like, guns semi-blazing a bit. Chaz says, well, look, right now I'm set in every aspect of my life. And I want to be a father. I want to get married. I'm very clear about that. So Thomas said, when, the 2 left, he says, honestly, I think Chaz is smitten with you. He could tell there was chemistry. Chaz also brought her flowers. Did y'all know this? Did y'all notice when he went to go see Rashina, he didn't bring her flowers? I'm just saying. Anyway, and Chaz's body language as he was sitting at that table was given what William said out loud. Like, he did not want to be sitting there talking to Vanessa and sitting beside Dominique's ass. Okay. So Maya brings her fine ass ex, named Wes. I looked at him. I said, girl, what happened? What'd he do? And when Maya said he still had feelings for her, I was like, girl, he is fine. I ain't like his lips, but other than that, he is fine. He's one of those, when I looked at him, I was like, He's the kind I meet and be like, I know exactly what we gonna do eventually. Anyway, so, Maya, I want to meet your ex. You don't want him, right? Okay. Anyway, Wes said, Wes is her ex. And he's talking to William, and William was like, yeah, I'm ready to get married. because when I'm with you for the rest of my life. He was like, you didn't plan to be with your other two wives for the rest of your life? I said, facts, though. That's a serious question because I've been wondering that too. I know he has 3 children and everything, but I'm sitting up here like, you've had 2 wives, sir. 2. Maybe marriage isn't for you. I'm not saying maybe you can't have a good partner, healthy relationship, but maybe marriage isn't for you. And I like you, William, but I'm just saying. So Wes asked Justin, what does he do for a living? He says that he's a teacher, and Wes looks at him and says, "Have y'all had to talk about income?" I said, "You know what? Fuck all y'all, okay? People make fun of teachers. Let me tell you. Let me just talk to you for a second, Justin. I know we are the laughing stock of a lot of people who don't understand why we do what we do for so little. And also, we are then mocked about getting all this free time off in the summer. And people think we get paid vacations. We do not. All they do is take your yearly salary and chop it up. If it's one of those school districts willing to do it. Some people only get paid 9 months out of the year. And for all these people that think we're broke, and then they also say we get all these perks. None of these people are ever quitting their job to become teachers. And if it was that great, people wouldn't be quitting. Whatever drives a teacher to stay a teacher, y'all, is something far beyond what you can understand. And so Maya knew you were a teacher when she met you, and she didn't make a big deal out of it. And then he's talking about, how spoiled she is. He was like, well, I hope you have a big bank account. And Justin was like, look, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't make $100K. We knew that, Justin. I know that. And then he says, in the confessional, well, she's looking for a guy with a big bank account. That ain't me. And that's honest. But my thing is, Justin, darling, Wes, her ex, he won. He won that round. Because you've known Maya all this time, have been dating her, so on and so forth. She never brought that up to you. He got under your skin just like that. You believe in him, and she done got rid of him. Bad look, bruh. Bad look. All right. Yeah. So Maya won't be taking care of you. She made that very clear. You can't be borrowing nothing for her. I agree. I do not give men money. That is not a thing. A man needs to be able to take care of himself and me. Yes, I said it. Anyway, and she shouldn't. She shouldn't. You can bring what you bring to the table. She can bring what she brings to the table. But you should always be able to take care of yourself and certainly provide her something that another man couldn't give her. And that's not always money. Okay? Okay. But Justin, you a little too cute, and you still kind of young, and you have a whole lot of playing around left to do, and I think you plan to do it. Anyway, so Rashina sets up a date with her ex-husband, Chris. She said they've been separated for 10 years and had 2 kids together. Fine. It was the words for me, though. I was like, are they still married? Like, to say you've been separated for 10 years and not use the word divorce just made me go, is the paperwork not in? I mean, and they still get along, I'm just saying it was an interesting choice of words. But she invites Chaz. Chaz asks her husband, well, how is Rashina? He was like, well, Chaz was saying, there's still a lot I don't know about Rashina. Yeah, because y'all ain't been on no dates. So, not really. So, he says, well, what do you do when Rashina's upset? And what do you do to bring her down? How is she? He was like, leave her alone. And he kept eating. And I was like, you know what? That is the realest motherfucking thing. Because I'm one of them people. Just leave me alone. We can get back to it later, but I need a second just to kind of woosah. I cannot resolve issues in the moment. All right? So Chaz laughed, and Chris was like, I like Chaz. He was like, because he's proper. He said, that means you're not messing with no hood dudes, because I don't want no hood dudes around my kid. I get it. And they seem to be on the same page, so that was nice. This actually didn't go as bad as I thought it would with, like, people and their exes. So, then we get Mika. Mika, stop playing with us. Stop playing with us. bring in LaRon and Justin on this date. We know you're not interested in either one of them. You're not. Mika is over these men. You can tell by her body language, like since the third episode. She don't really like any of them. Okay, any of them. Like, and granted, this is some bullshit crop, but it is the reality of what black women deal with. We're the ones who bring a whole lot to the table, and these men think we just supposed to do stuff for them, huh? Anyway, but I think Mika probably likes Chaz's pockets. But her type is probably an athlete or something like that. It just gives me that. So Tommy shows up. And LaRon's dumbass like, is Tommy her ex? I said, oh my gosh. I really do think LaRon is slow though. So, I mean, not like retarded, but like, not mentally challenged, but just slow. Okay. So he asked Justin how his relationship ended, how his last relationship ended. And he said, look, we just weren't seeing eye to eye. Which I think is a very good politically correct answer. Because I don't like men who sit around and dog the women they were out, they used to date out like that, because that to me is a sign of how you'll speak about me, and it also tells me a lot in terms of the fact that you're not somebody I would want to be with. Anyway, and LaRon said, well, we were just arguing a whole lot about a whole lot of stuff. I guess so, LaRon, because you're fucking immature. So Tommy asked him, how does he resolve things? Asked both of them, how do you resolve things if y'all have like a fight in the morning? And Justin said, we'll resolve it in the morning. He was like, I'll be late for work just to make sure that this is okay. Justin, you better than me. Because Salah run a tight schedule. I'll let you know. First of all, I don't let no man stay in my apartment after I get up and leave for work. You got to roll out too. You got to roll out. And no, I'm not going to sit here and talk about an argument. I got to get to work. I have a schedule and an order to keep. But I appreciate the response. LaRon was like, you know, I'm probably won't resolve it in the morning, but I'll, you know, like check the temperature throughout the day, send a couple of texts, and that. I didn't feel like either one of their answers were bad. I didn't. Mika says, well, her ex was a gamer, and LaRon was like, you don't like gamers? I love video games, especially if it comes out to the day, this, and the other. LaRon, grow the fuck up. Please. Okay? And she was like, no, his playing was excessive. And I have a problem, and this is just my preference, with grown-ass men who play video games. I'm not talking about once in a while on a holiday, we go visit his family, and his grown cousins is playing the game. Like, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you play a video game, something's wrong. There's something deeply juvenile about that, and considering that patriarchy is etched in stone in this country and around the world, I don't know what kind of fucking reality men are trying to escape. But you got your motherfucking nerve to have that much privilege in society and then try, put that goddamn video game down. And when Mika said, my son really liked him, I don't like to bring a lot of people around my son, so that was really tough. And he really loved him. I was like, yeah, because they was probably the same age mentally. Anyway, so her and LaRon don't have a romantic connection. Agreed, Mika. LaRon, I don't even know why LaRon is still here, because who did he have a connection with? Oh, Koshia. That's who he really dating. Anyway, so Patrice and Alonzo go on a date. He had a museum shut down for them, and he's trying to show her his serious side or whatever, his serious and romantic side. That was a huge effort on his part. That really was. And that had to be kind of expensive. I appreciated that. And he really worked on this and tried to prove himself, and that's what I think a man should do when he's interested. Patrice be pulling him, don't she? The men be working for her. I ain't mad at it. He goes down on one knee and said, oh, I was about to talk about you. I said, and see, now you done reverted back. But that was cute. This was a cute episode. So they meet in a lounge. And I love the vibe now that we got rid of Alexis. It did not seem as tense. They walk in, they can tell each other they look pretty and stuff like that. But Patrice seemed a little bothered when Maya began about her date and saying how her ex supported her being with William. Maya looked a little bothered when Patrice brought up William. This was bound to happen, although I don't think William is anybody to be fighting over. Anyway, Vanessa kept it cute. She said she brought up how Dominique was suspicious of her and Thomas's relationship, and she made a note of it. And y'all notice Tommy's reaction to, like, oh, really? Like, that's something you need to keep an eye on, because he's a little too into it, and he just seemed to kind of show interest last week, last episode or whatever. So Mika is feeling Justin more now after, their date. LaRon, I'm sitting up here, this is just my 2 cents. I was like, LaRon gotta go. Like, who is he connected with? Koshia. Anyway, I don't know how his name didn't come up the way I felt like it should have. Dominique finally came up, and so it comes down to Dominique and Alonzo. Okay? So Maya sits down with Dominique, and Dominique said he doesn't know Maya from a can of paint. Well, sir, whose fault is that? You've been a part of this process. He said because he stays away from her because of her connection with William. Sir, you are literally sitting down with this woman, kind of questioning her about her relationship with William. If you were any kind of man and assertive, then you could have gone in for the kill. No, but you ugly and you insecure and you cheap. Okay? You don't want to drive nowhere because of your gas. Talking about somebody, I only get 16 miles to the gallon. You need a new car, or you need to be able to put out money for gas if you're going to be trying to have 10 fucking kids. Okay? Miss me. His hostile approach to Maya made it very uncomfortable because Maya was not meeting him with that kind of energy. She couldn't have been nicer. She didn't change her tone or anything. This is what we dealing with. So Dom said, well, he thought he was ready to love. He felt like he was ready or whatever. But as far as I'm concerned, not if you don't want to spend gas money. So Vanessa talks to Alonzo, and she said, look, women, have been talking, and they worry about how serious you are. And she said, and she spoke from her individual experience, Alexis, not telling her what other people said specifically. And she was like, I honestly felt a little uncomfortable when you sent me a text telling me all about this date you planned for Patrice. I mean, I'm happy for you. She was like, but we're in this process. That made me feel uncomfortable. And he was like, oh, well, I was just trying to tell you. She was like, because I'm sitting here thinking, oh, is that what he does for women he's interested in? But why is he texting me? And he was like, well, I wanted you to know that. And she was like, are you saying you're interested in me? He was like, yes. And I'm like, Alonzo, this is what we're talking about in terms of being a grown man. Say what the fuck you need to say. I still think that was a terrible idea to send that kind of detail of a text to Vanessa about the date. And as we can see, Vanessa and Patrice done been on double dates with each other. Like, they are going to talk. Okay? Anyway, and Alonzo, I think you slipped up by saying to Vanessa that you were interested in her towards this close to the end of the process. Yes. Okay. So, anyway, Dominique's ugly ass gets eliminated. Whatever. Okay. So, the preview for next week, Chaz, you have been up there on my list. I like you. You an older man, but you still, your body and everything, you got your shit together. But the way I see you acting, kissing strawberries out of Rasheena's mouth, laying in bed holding hands with Mika, and Vanessa accidentally walks in, like, you being real sloppy with it. You up here talking about you want to get married, you not playing a year or two, you want to have kids, this, that, and the other. That's not how a grown man, a real grown man, who wants to get married acts. That's a sign of immaturity. And it's telling me that a guy like you, that I feel like actually should have had his pick, so on and so forth, this may be why. And if you're trying to punish Vanessa because you had to go and sit beside Dominique, brother, get over it. But anyway, that's all I have. I will see y'all later this weekend, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.